welcome you to the session. Can someone confirm me in the chat? Are you able to hear me clearly, see me clearly? All right, all right. Srinagesh, Vivan, Subramanian all says yes. Okay, good, cool. Okay, so as I mentioned in the particular agenda of this particular webinar, we are actually going to see how to build an agile transformation roadmap. So before I get into the session, probably the people who have joined here, you can actually ping me here. What do you fundamentally mean by a roadmap? Like, any thoughts which you have in your mind, which you like to share here, why we actually need to fundamentally go for this particular topic called agile transformation roadmap, which could be the first question. Second question is, what do you mean by the word roadmap? Okay, so once I set the context and then try to get some kind of a glimpses from you, I will toggle on to my particular webinar deck or the PPT what I have. So let me pose the question here just to know the audience in a better manner in terms of your thoughts. What is a roadmap? Why do we need a roadmap for an agile transformation? Any thoughts that you want to share in the chat? Okay, Pramod says, without a plan, we cannot achieve where we want to go. Okay, WHERE. Okay, of course. Okay, fine. So the point here is for me to reach my vision, or actually for me to reach the target, probably I may need a direction of treading the path, right? So roadmap is a term which is being used not only for agile transformation. We have some terms like a project roadmap, the product roadmap. Product roadmap is actually going to tell, okay, across the quarter, these are all the priorities of the product. Whereas if you're taking a project roadmap, like, it is going to tell probably for this particular Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, these are all the milestones what we need to achieve. So when we actually have the topic as how to build agile transformation roadmap, probably before you jump onto the roadmap, we need to have a clarity in the mind. Okay, point number one, what do you mean by this particular agile transformation in this particular context for this particular client? Because the phrase or the word agile transformation can be interpreted or actually perceived by so many people in so many ways. So the one thing is that it is the context which is going to give life to your content. So whenever you are doing a particular agile transformation, embarking on a journey of a agile transformation, what do you mean by agile transformation for this particular client at this point in time? So point number one, we need to have clarity on that. The second thing is, okay, why are we doing this particular transformation? What is the business driver behind this particular transformation? What are all the objectives, or what are all the business outcomes, what I wanted to yield basically as a result of this particular transformation? So without having clarity on the vision, without having clarity on the goal, without understanding the surrounding context of this particular agile transformation for a particular client, if we directly jump on to building a roadmap, you will be bit held up in ambiguity. Okay, so what I do is, probably some of you can actually put here what could be the purpose of doing a transformation. Can someone put it in the chat? What could be the possible reasons or the business driver why generally companies go for an agile transformation? Like any kind of thoughts from your end? Okay, more revenue. Okay, but actually, how come agile transformation will try to increase the revenue generally? Someone says ROI. Okay. Okay, so possibly we are actually talking about some positive indicators. It could be increase in the revenue, or actually reduction in the cycle time on the lead time, or the earlier code to market, so that you are actually capturing a particular piece of market segment. So some kind of a positivity. Or actually probably no, earlier you actually had some kind of a challenges in terms of quality issues. So the company thought that probably if I do a shift left approach using test driven development, behavior driven development, acceptance test driven development, then feature driven development, domain driven design, or rather SDD, story driven design, or if I have a continuous CI/CD pipeline, probably the churn rate of the code which can be released to production could be at a faster pace. And once I compress my cycle time or the lead time, there will be increase in the productivity or number of features delivered per quarter, something like that, so that you are actually able to touch the business pulse of the client. Okay, so as someone says that time to market focus, which also increases customer satisfaction. And Subramaniam says that in ever-changing requirements of customer needs agile methodology which fits the situation. Awesome answer. Yes, because in an agile driven engagement, requirements tend to change frequently, or rather tend to evolve or emerge. So basically I need to have some kind of an iterative approach, some kind of an incremental approach, some kind of an approach which is going to factor the feedback loops, and then trying to eliminate the waste, or at least try to minimize the waste, and also basically align to client centric business outcomes, right? So this is the meaning of agile. Basically, if you are thinking anything as an agile or a agility, probably you should have 4 or 5 characteristic features. Point number 1 is iterative. Second thing is incremental approach. Third thing could be eliminating the waste. Fourth thing could be factoring the feedback loops. Fifth thing could be basically aligned to client-centric business outcomes. If you have all these 5 things, even if you are not implementing Scrum or Kanban, you are actually implementing your customized practices. Believe me, you are in fact exhibiting agility. All right. So what I'll do is, what is the difference between iterative and incremental? See, iterative is when you define your iteration 1 or your sprint 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Whereas an incremental approach is basically whether this particular iterative goals are incrementally aligned to the vision of the product. Because okay, so some people ask me, then why do we have 2 different words? Why? Because both seems to be similar, right? One is called iteration, one is called incremental. My answer to it, iterations defines the speed, whereas incremental defines the direction. Because agility is a vector quantity, right? Because what's the point in driving a car at a very high velocity in the wrong direction? You also need to drive fast, but also need to ensure that you are going in the right direction, right? So we tend to factor both iterative nature and also incremental approach. Okay, so just to optimize the time, because today I have a lot of slides to share, I will straight away jump onto my slides. Okay, and then we can come back here to the chat for our questions. 1 minute. Can someone tell me, are you able to see the slide? Sometime back I toggled, right? Can someone confirm me in the chat? Yes, Purnima says yes. Okay, good. All right. So this is a quick introduction about myself. Okay, you can just take a look in terms of my education qualification and in terms of my agile experience and my current role in agile. I'm presently working as an executive agile coach, heading the Agile Transformation Office in one of the service-based organization. And always, whenever we are actually talking about your goal, or whenever we are actually talking about a roadmap, it is fundamentally better to begin the journey by understanding why. Why am I doing what am I doing? Okay, why this particular transformation need to be done for this particular client? Okay, at this point in time, if you are very clear on the purpose, or if you are very clear on the current problems in that particular ecosystem, believe me, automatically the clarity will be there on the how part and the what part. So sometimes people struggle in the what part, sometimes people struggle in the how part, because they have not done enough justice to the why part. So always begin the journey with the why in the mind. Okay. So these are all some of the thought process what I wanted you guys know, wanted you folks to have in terms of ask yourself, why do we need to do agile transformation? If we have decided to go, then what do you mean by agile transformation in this particular context? Then what are all the business problems we are intended to solve as part of this envisaged agile transformation? Now, if we are not going to solve the problems, then why are you doing this particular transformation in the first place? Because many companies do some agile transformation. Transformation itself may actually become one more problem because they have not understood the current existing ground level challenges, and they have straight away jumped into transformation. So first understand the ground level challenges and then try to have a relevance back. If I do agile transformation, probably what are all the problems which I can solve it through agile as a vehicle to solve the problem? Then what is the success criteria of this transformation? Now, some people ask me, okay, when do I need to end the transformation? I actually question them back. What was the objective of your transformation? If you want to travel from Chennai to Goa or from Pune to Goa, once you reach Goa, probably the destination ends, probably the travel ends, right? So if you don't have clarity on what is the objective, what I'm trying to achieve as part of the transformation, then the problem comes when I need to end the transformation. So one need to have clarity. What is the success criteria? For example, reduction in the cycle time by 10%. Okay, see now success criteria could be at various levels. Predominantly, one actually could be at a team level. One actually could be at a program level, portfolio level. But holistically, what is the success criteria of this particular transformation? If you have clarity on all these points, probably you can now define what are all the high level building blocks of this particular journey. Probably I may need to begin with point X and then go to point Y. Then also I need to sustain in that particular point Y. Then once again I need to continue the journey to go to point Z. So that automatically that building blocks will be created. From the transformation plan, you can try to co-create a coaching plan, and then you can do your monthly agile maturity assessments or some kind of a periodic checks and balances so as to ascertain, okay, are we treading the right path? And then post that particular coaching or transformation is been completed, and now how this particular team is going to sustain agility. For that, you may need to create a sustainability plan. Okay, 1 minute. Okay, now this particular slide, I just thought to put at a very high level, what could be the steps to do an agile transformation? First, you need to build a transformation team, right? First of all, you need to have some change agents or some kind of an agile coach group who is going to drive the transformation. And then we need to have clarity on the end state of the transformation. If you have clarity on the end state and the current state, probably you can now try to charter out a high level transformation plan, and within the transformation plan you may need to do periodic checks and reviews. So we are saying maintain a rolling wave in 90-day plan once again, and then you actually conduct a 30-day checkpoint, inspect and adapt, then connect your vision to business objective, and then to your agile outcomes. So these points will be explained in the forthcoming slides. So don't worry on trying to understand it fully, but just try to know the flow on a high level. Inspect and adapt, then connect the vision to business objective, agile outcome, then connect the agile outcome to actual activities performed on the ground. Then you start doing some new ways of working, and most importantly, last but not the least, create a psychological safety net for the group, because people should not have the panic mindset whenever they are hearing this word transformation. So in the interest of time, I have actually taken this particular diagram, okay, and the source is also been mentioned here. Okay, this is a model used by Deloitte. Deloitte as an organization or as a consulting organization, when they created a transformation model, they have actually had a model saying what are all the activities they are going to do in the pilot phase. then something called a refine phase. Then you are actually trying to adopt it, and then you are trying to expand the adoption across multiple product lines or across multiple product groups, across a team of teams, in the final column. Now this is just a model, okay, and in this model they have also mentioned, okay, what are all the pieces of the puzzle which need to be kept in mind. It could be training and coaching, it could be like some of the processes and practices, and focus on architecture and the DevOps, and probably on the overall operating model and the organizational design. So when you are creating your agile transformation roadmap, right, as I mentioned in the previous slide, once you have clarity on the end state vision, and once you know where are you currently, probably you can take some of the pilot projects and then try to increase the agile maturity level from point X to point Y. So probably in the pilot phase, which is in the first column, you can try to do all these activities. Establish your agile vision and focus on, because without having technical agility, no amount of process agility is going to add value. So you may need to focus on the architecture, DevOps, then your tooling practices, and then you slowly expand to other circle of influences. Okay, so what I'll do, let me just go back to the chat, and then I will like to take any one or two questions that you people have, and then we will toggle back. I think now I put it on a full screen mode. Okay, this is on a full screen mode. So just an intermediate checkpoint. What thoughts come to your mind when you go through these slides, at least on a high level? Okay, does it make relevance to you, or any suggestions? So when someone is asking you, how will you create a transformation roadmap, you actually ask them back, what is the purpose of this particular transformation? Why are we doing transformation in the first place? And where are we before the transformation? So if I have clarity on where I am currently and where do I need to reach, then probably then I can tell what is the best channel of transportation or communication. No, if you don't know where you are currently and where do you want to reach, any tool is not going to help you, right? Be it Jira, Rally, or version 1, those are only enablers. So transformation can be done even in the absence of Jira, but Jira is going to facilitate it when you are doing across multiple team of teams. Yes, you actually need a consolidated dashboard so that multiple teams can come together and then see the burn down chart. It could be at a sprint level, or it could be at a program increment level, or it could be at a release level. Okay, are we good at, till now? Because I just need a clarification from you people before I go to the next slides. Okay, cool. Vivan says yes. Okay, fine. So let's keep the ball rolling. Okay, so see, this is just a model. Okay, of course, I have taken this model from the Deloitte, and it is an open source information which is available on the which has been available on the internet. But you may need to think through. Okay, for me, what actually could be the building blocks? Probably no. You may need to start doing a base level assessment, right? For example, before you jump on to coaching the team, you may need to know where the team is in terms of agile maturity, or rather the team had just transitioned from a waterfall model, or the team have executed a kind of an agile for a few days. They know the ceremonies, but they actually don't know the principles behind the practices. So you may need to do some kind of an inspect and adapt. Because in an agile driven engagement, there will be an empirical approach. Some kind of experimentation should be there. If everything has been carved out on a stone, then it is not an agile engagement, right? So you may need to do some kind of experimentation, some kind of trial and error, all because agile says fail fast, but had you executed it and then saw how it works out. So all these things need to be done. So you can start referring to multiple companies' transformation playbook or multiple companies' transformation models, and then when you compare all the models, you can see a pattern. You can see something is getting repeated across multiple companies. Okay, what is that? Is multiple companies, whenever they are doing the transformation, they always try to increase the maturity level. Okay, okay, no, along the time axis, right? For example, if I have a team which is at a maturity level 1, then probably in the month of March, then probably in June, July, we will actually try to take the team or rather team of teams from maturity level 1 to maturity level 2. Now, what is maturity level 1? What is maturity level 2? That we will see in the forthcoming slides, because that particular answer should come from the context. But that model says that it is like climbing a staircase, right? You actually climb the second staircase, sustain there. Then you climb to the third, fourth, sustain there, right? So with that thought process, you may need to go. Now, okay, now everyone knows this is an agile onion planning model which is being used by the delivery teams. Now, my say is, why not you start using this model even for agile transformation? Because even transformation, what we used to do, no, we have our coaches sync up meeting, okay, weekly once. And what I used to do, that the team level agile coaches who are actually reporting to me, I used to assign them, or they used to pick up some user stories from the rally. The only difference is, instead of actually picking up from the project or product level user stories, they will be picking up some user stories like conduct a design thinking workshop to product management group, conduct a system thinking workshop to release train engineers. Okay, so whatever activities that the coaches need to do can also be translated into a user story, and then you can put it under a coaching backlog. Like you have your opportunity backlog, like you have your product backlog, like you have your iteration backlog. Why not you create a coaching backlog and start having even a vision for the coaches, or rather the system of a transformation. Okay, understand one thing which I have already covered in my YouTube channel and in my mentorship program. The system of delivery particularly takes care of your product roadmap and project level release planning. System of transformation takes care of your agile transformation roadmap followed by the coaching plan. And the system of continuous improvement is going to take care of the continuous improvement Kaizen initiatives. So you need to have clarity which particular thing you are now trying to talk. So my say is, why not you take this model and even start mapping this model to the coaches group? See, something when you are learning something somewhere does not necessarily mean we need to apply it only there. You can take it, slightly tweak it as per the context, and then start applying it in a number of places, of course, wherever it is making a relevance. So my suggestion is, if the coaches group have some clarity on their vision, okay, for the next 3 months, what is our vision? How many teams do we need to transform? Then actually, where are those teams as on date? Now, whatever you are trying to plug the gap between where the teams are currently and where the teams need to be there within next 3 to 4 months, you are in fact creating a roadmap, right? And then later you may need to refine it to make it as a actionable one. Okay, this is actually one more roadmap which I have taken from the internet. The good point here is, it is going to tell, okay, in month 1, month 2, month 3, what are we going to focus, but it also shows you what are the other touch points like tools, engineering, product, and your IT operation, or your DevOps or DevSecOps, or your SRE, site reliability engineering, and your Agile HR, followed by your key metrics reporting or a dashboard, which also could be from your operation review metrics. So the point is, when I'm doing a transformation could be viewed as a hub. And what are all the surmounting spokes? It could be tools, the product aspect of agility, then the technical agility, engineering, then the DevOps, probably Agile HR to do a team-based performance appraisal models, okay, once in a quarter, then your key metrics are a dashboard. So something like that also you may try to envision it. Okay, so what we'll do, okay, now this is a typical maturity roadmap. Like for example, right, multiple companies have this, no, you can start putting your maturity on the y-axis and your time in and no in the x-axis, and then define the crawl state, walk state, run state, and the fly state. And in this, we are now trying to sell crawl, walk, run, fly. What do you mean? Based on what aspects of or dimensions I can tell, probably this is in a walk state, this is in a run state, and what are all the goals which need to be achieved within these particular columns, right? So probably you may try to envisage, because many of the companies have this particular model. Only thing is the connotation to the model should actually come from the context, because what do you sense as crawl state or a walk state for one team may not make relevance for other team. So any questions over here before I continue the slides, or any suggestions, or okay, let me ask a open-ended question, no, to this group. So in these stages, yes, these are all the pre-crawl also. Okay, so whatever, see, it all depends on the context. If you want to have a pre-crawl, you can go for it. Only thing, you may need to define the connotation behind it. Okay, when I say connotation, what I meant is pre-call means what? As per that context, pre-call means what, and also on what indicators you can tell that particular team is in a pre-crawl. Maybe if they are executing the first sprint, do we call it as a pre-crawl, or what is that? Or only teams who are undergoing trainings on Scrum or Kanban or DevOps, can we call those teams as a pre-call? So if you are clear on the connotation behind it, then the nomenclature doesn't matter much. What is expected would be context to organization and the vision for transformation. Okay, Ashish, can you paraphrase your question in a slightly different manner, Ashish? Because I think I'm not able to echo or get your feeling or your thoughts. What is expected would be context to organization and the vision for transformation. So in these stages, what is expected? Okay. See, now the point is, in my forthcoming slides, I'm just going to tell. See, ideally, by doing a transformation, by actually doing an agile transformation, you cannot directly touch the business outcomes at the beginning itself, because agile transformation is a means to obtain some other business outcome, right? So in the forthcoming slides, I'm going to tell how do we take our agile practices and build our agile capabilities, which will yield you first of all agile. Okay, let me actually type it here now, so that to start with your agile practices. Okay, this is the way to do it, which we have tested in some of our engagement. Agile practices should increase your agile capabilities. Then your agile capabilities should enhance your like your agile outcomes. Then you go to your business outcomes. Okay, and how to do is like I have explained in the slide. You can just hold on for a minute. So one of the simple example is, if I start using a shift left, approach, probably I am doing early validation to the code. So probably the defects will be minimized, or in fact, my testing is going to drive the show. So actually what happens, you are building an agile capability of a continuous CI/CD pipeline also. Once your TDD, BDD, or whatever XP practices is been coupled onto your CI/CD Jenkins pipeline, or whatever be the tech stack, you are increasing the agile capability. Because of that, what happens? Your agile outcomes increase. Means what? Improvement in the predictability, improvement in the productivity, compression of a cycle time and the lead time, improvement in the quality, improvement in the throughput. So these are all the agile outcomes. Unless and until you are increasing your agile outcomes, you cannot touch the business outcome directly. So my say is, business outcome is like an operational value stream, which we also call it as a customer value stream. Whereas my agile outcome is a development value stream or a product value stream. So though my operational value stream is going to be the pulse of my client, my operational value stream cannot exist, or it does not exist in the absence of supportive product value stream. So you may need to understand one thing is that, are we talking about a effectiveness layer, or are we talking about a efficiency layer? Because improvements has two aspects, right? It could be at an effectiveness layer, probably focusing the right initiatives. Efficiency could be at an operational level. So probably in some of these slides we will be seeing, okay, what measures can be captured or monitored to identify the maturity? Okay, that actually depends upon what did they meant by maturity in that context, right? For example, maturity can be perceived as having a continuous release management pipeline. I'm just giving an example. Maturity can be perceived as a better estimation techniques or standardized practices. Okay. And in some cases, maturity could be perceived as able to have a goal question metric approach. So you may need to define what are all the flavors of maturity. Then you go to the stage of capturing the maturity or monitoring the maturity. So what measures can be monitored to identify the maturity? The answer is, what are the parameters which are being called as maturity in the context that need to be monitored in first iteration, second iteration, third iteration, fourth iteration, and then see, are we improving or not? Point number one. Point number two, one of the measure could be the agile maturity, the index value itself. Probably, if I put it as a AMI, Agile Maturity Index. So you may need to create a sheet for this. Call out multiple parameters. It could be DevOps in terms of technical agility. It could be product backlog refinement capability, visibility on the horizon, and it could be on the process mechanism, like measuring the aging of the impediments, not trying to compress the lead time or the cycle time. It could be on the quality aspects, like zero production defects, or rather code coverage, enhanced code coverage using Sonar Cube as a static code analyzer. These are all some of the flavors of the maturity. But what is maturity? You may need to define it. Only then I can answer that question. Yeah, in between governance also will come. Yeah, governance also will come, but governance make more relevance in the BFSI domain and healthcare domain. But then agreed, in some other domains also you do have a governance or a regulatory mechanism, compliance mechanism, which anyway need to be taken care, even in a traditional waterfall model. And it is not new to Agile. Only thing Agile says, you can take a lean audit approach. Even for auditing, you can take a lean approach. Don't measure so many metrics like a junk. You take barest minimum metrics, but at the same time, the metrics should be comprehensive. When you're starting a new team using Agile. Okay, so these are all, I have made some YouTube videos, or like I can share it. Okay, so what I'll do now, I'll just keep moving in the slides and then we will come back. Okay, so here, this is something which I extensively cover in my Agile mentorship program, and some of the people who have joined this particular chat are already part of my program, so they know this. But no, what I'm trying to say is, whenever you are trying to build an outcome-based plan to do an Agile transformation, probably these are all some of the outcomes. Forming a team. Forming a team doesn't mean physically forming team. Forming a team at a mindset level. Okay. Form teams, baseline your metrics, you build your predictability, make and meet commitment, improve the system, achieve a stable throughput, maintain a 3 months rolling wave backlog, reduce the batch size, prioritize the highest value work. Means what? If a team is able to sustain on all these particular outcomes, then probably I will certify that team as level 1 certified team. Because someone asked me, what will you cover under level 1, level 2, level 3? That actually depends upon what is perceived or what is defined or interpreted as maturity in that level 1. For example, I can take a level one as form teams, metrics baseline, make and meet commitment, improve the system, achieve a stable throughput, maintain a 3 months rolling wave backlog. If any team is able to sustain on these six outcomes, of course, it is not a business outcome, fully agreed. It is an agile outcome. If any team is able to sustain agility in terms of these six outcomes, then I certify that the team has level one completed. Now, when they go to level two, probably I can tell, reduce the batch size, prioritize your work using weighted shortest job first, schedule for a early completion using work in progress limit on your know your task board. Then you find out and you eliminate or minimize the waste, lean out product value stream, lean out customer value stream, prioritize dependencies, plan for strategic refactoring. This could be level two. Now, how will I know whether the team has reached this? Your agile maturity assessment questionnaire is going to contain questions which is going to check on all these attributes. So when I do an agile maturity assessment, that assessment questionnaire had been co-created with my team, and that questionnaire has questions which is going to check, and we'll go and check in the rally whether these teams have achieved these things. Then we will give the score, and then the final score will get auto-generated on the tool. Based on that, we will tell. Now for level 3, probably I will tell decouple dependencies, increase the local autonomous of the team, have a team-based funding model. Means don't work on a cost center based budgeting. You actually give the funding model to the team. Then start funding value streams. Establish productized IT value streams. See, these are all real-time examples which you can't find it in the Google. If you try to Google, you will not get it, because Google will again and again tell level 1, level 2, level 3. Okay, can you tell some outcomes? They will again and again talk about DevOps, then code quality, but they will not go little bit deep inside. Okay, these are all the outcomes which I have done. So I have taken from my real-time engagements. Okay, so this is the connecting thread. From agile practices, you go to agile capabilities, you go to agile outcomes, then you touch the business outcome. Okay, this is a concept. Next slide is an example. You start with your shift left practices, you increase the robustness of your CI/CD pipeline, then you reduce your lead time and cycle time, because of which your CSAT increases, your time to market increases. That's what I'm saying. Directly from agile practices, you can still impact the business outcome, but you need to know how. That connecting thread is this particular agile capabilities and agile outcomes. Okay. So let's again toggle back to this to see any questions. Did you folks understood the connecting thread, or what am I trying to explain in those slides? Raghav, for you, what I suggest is, could you please suggest how to approach a Scrum team when you are joining a new organization? I have made a YouTube video, for half an hour or 25 minutes on this exact question. You can probably take a look into the video. And before we end this particular call, I will be sharing you the links of my YouTube channel and my contact coordinates. You can just connect with me offline too. Okay. All right. So see, now the point is like this. See, 1 second here. Sorry. Here I have given you some examples, right? Maintain a 3 months rolling wave backlog. Then identify and eliminate waste. Okay. Plan for strategic refactoring. These are all some examples. Now, as per your context, you may create a new agile outcome. Can someone tell me some new agile outcome? Like what examples come to your mind? Just try to think for a minute and then ping some agile outcomes. Because the point is that many companies do agile transformation, but if you go and ask them, oh, okay, guys, you have done an agile transformation, like in this past 2 years, what you have achieved as an agile outcome, only very few companies have some tangible answers. They may have some intangible answers. Okay, eliminate waste is what we covered in that slide. Yes, correct. Because lean and agile are two sides of the same coin. Lean focuses dedicatedly on minimizing the waste or, a, or eliminating the waste. Okay, because in a real-time situation, you cannot eliminate a waste. You can only minimize the waste within your constraints or available means by and large. Okay, reducing the lead time. Okay, okay. Okay, now let me tell an outcome which actually comes to my mind. Okay, probably at a portfolio level. Okay, portfolio level. Let's say we have a goal or a, because goal and outcome go hand in hand. Okay, which you can think through. Portfolio level, probably no. I am saying quarter on quarter. I need to increase quarter on quarter. I need to increase the revenue margin by 10 percentage. Let's say. I'm just giving an example. Think through. Basically, at a portfolio level, I'm saying quarter on quarter, I need to increase the revenue margin by 10 percentage. Then the next question will come whether it's an organic growth or or rather an inorganic growth. Because organic growth is something growth with the existing clients. Inorganic growth is something you try to build new leads or funnel into your business. Now, for me to increase the revenue margin, what are all the possible ways? Do I need to focus more on microservices based deployment? Do I need to focus more on cloud enabled services modeling? Do I need to focus more on platform and services? Or what am I supposed to do? That will come from your strategy. Now, whatever we are saying, right? Improvement in the predictability, improvement in the productivity, improvement in the responsiveness means reduction in the cycle time or the lead time, and improvement in the quality. No client will tell that I don't want this, right? No client will tell you, I don't want predictability. I don't want productivity. I don't want compression in my lead time and the cycle time. And I don't want quality. No one will say. So what am I trying to tell here? Improvement is independent of the methodology of execution of the software. Improvement is independent of the framework being used. Improvement is something which is independent of the agile itself. Agile is a powerful vehicle to get it done. So an agile transformation, even in an agile transformation, doing agile for the sake of agile is an absolute no. It doesn't make any sense that we are executing agile engagements for the sake of agile. No, there should be a higher purpose towards it. There should be a business driver towards it. Because if you go to your board of directors and then if you talk about lead time, cycle time, your velocity charts, your burn up, burn down charts, your program predictability, measure, report, save, no one will be listening to you. They will be interested in the revenue margin. They will be interested in the compounded annual growth rate, CAGR improvement. Like that, we may need to speak that level of vocabulary. But for me to achieve it, I cannot jump the gun, right? There should be a process to get it done. So agile is one of the way to getting it done. Because tomorrow, if the context changes, how to build a business transformation roadmap, then if you don't have that connecting thread to the business, you cannot justify your transformation. That's what I am trying to tell. Does that make relevance to you people more? Maybe someone can put yes or whatever comments come to your mind. Arjun, Charan, Vimal, Raghav, Jaya, Rajeshwari, Subramanian, Vivan, Pramod. Can you just put some of your thoughts on what I told now? Okay. All right. Yes. Okay, so let me tell an example. 10 days back or 15 days back, I was talking to the senior vice president of one of my client. So he was saying that we need to implement SAFe and we need to get it done at a portfolio level. And then I asked him, okay, so yeah, we can implement SAFe. That's not a problem. But then what are all your top challenges or pain points? And that guy was saying that implementing SAFe is the challenge. Absolutely no. Implementing SAFe is a means to overcome the challenge. Implementing SAFe itself is a challenge, means then what's the point in doing that particular transformation in the first place? Then I understood that they have a lot of challenges in some funding model. They had some challenges in terms of engaging the shared services into their business model, and they have some other challenges. So what we have suggested is, yes, we will go with safe, but then of course we are not going to blindly take whatever has been given in that particular diagram. We will start with the essential safe, and we also suggested lot of our accelerators are enablers which comes from our in-house capability building tools. And then we suggested them something called a ATO compass, Agile Transformation Office Compass, that is going to tell exactly what changes need to be done in your business model and for what reason, and we may need to plug in something to it, okay, based on the client-centric details. So what we have done is, though no, sometimes when client comes to you that we need to implement safe, or we need to implement Kanban, we need to implement a squad model, pod model, this model, that model, everything is fine, but then try to understand, maybe their intention is not really to implement it. They are trying to implement it assuming or believing that it is going to solve their problem. So understand the problem first. Probably is better than safe. You can come up with your own customized frameworks also. So if you have those clarities, then building an agile transformation roadmap is a cakewalk. But if you don't know all these contextual areas, then on top of what you will build a transformation roadmap. So these parameters need to be kept in mind. Okay, Rajeshwari is asking, but how to connect the transformation with the business output, sir? Okay. What is the challenge in connecting the transformation with the business output? Because if you are able to see, if you are able to reach the maturity level of your DevOps just by click of a button, be it a greenfield deployment or a brownfield deployment. Greenfield means newly generated or developed projects. Brownfield means maintenance projects. If I'm able to reach a maturity level or just by click of a button, the code will be pushed to production. Of course, going through some something like a dark launching strategy or a canary release strategy, don't you think it is going to improve the CSAT of the customer? If your CSAT improves of the customer, then the recurrence model of revenue is actually going to come in, right? So probably you may need to think through on it, because I need more contextual detail to answer that question. But all that I'm trying to say is, if you have the capability of doing things in an autopilot mode, quarter after quarter, PI after PI, client will be impressed to give more business to you, right? And probably your NPS value will also increase. NPS is one of the thing called net promoter score. Probably you may need to read on this a bit. Okay, improve revenue 10% quarter by quarter. What will be the plan of action for a agile transformation? So probably we may need to take the top 3 or 4 challenges in that landscape, which is not improving the revenue margin in our balance sheet, and then probably we may need to do. Okay, I'm not sure on the question, Raghav. I will come back on this. Just to optimize the time, I'll just complete the remaining slides and then we'll come back on the chat. So what I suggest you people is, okay, think through along these lines. Okay, now can I create some kind of a small outcome for my team? Probably small outcome. Start with a team level objective. No story should be blocked beyond 3 days. No kind of an impediment should be kept open beyond 3 to 4 days. It is also a team level objective, right? If you can't even achieve a team level objective, then how you can achieve an objective at a program layer and at a portfolio layer? Because the team level objectives are the building blocks of your the overall action plan. So probably you may try to think through on these particular lines also. See here what we are saying, by implementing shift left practices, by implementing extreme programming techniques, we are going to enable the CI/CD pipeline, because of which I'm trying to reduce the concept to cache time. It could be reduction in the cycle time or in the lead time, because your cycle time is going to anyway be a subset of your lead time. By that, I'm trying to accomplish the go-to-market strategy or the time-to-market strategy in a better manner. So we may need to take even the retrospective of the program increment or post go live, and then from the retrospectives also we can co-create a strategy. Okay, probably you may need to do it once. Yeah, I can just tell you my experience. You may need to do it once and then get the hands-on feel. Okay, so probably know some of the current pain points or challenges before transformation. Okay, resistance to change, low team productivity, some competing needs. So if there are some challenges like this, the probable solution could be, if I have an aligned product vision along multiple teams, probably the competing needs could have been balanced in a better manner, because if there is a shared vision and there is a shared backlog at a program layer, which has been dissected or deciphered into team level backlog later on, and then I'm going to build build high performance high high performance agile teams, and then probably the resistance to change, like I'm going to do some organization change management models. It could be Carter's 8 step, it could be an ATCAR model, it could be a Levin's change management model, or you can also co-create your own organization change management model. Probable solutions. Okay, you may need to try it out. Now, because of these things, what is going to happen? Time to market may increase, customer satisfaction may increase, quality may increase, employee engagement may increase, innovation may also increase, because when people have some time to really think, they are not carried away by the routine mundane task, right? So there is a possibility for a innovation and better responsiveness to market. The difference between time to market and responsiveness to market is, time to market is going to take care of the speed. Responsiveness is going to take care of business agility, the strategic adaptability, and also the direction of thinking. So I used two terms there. Okay, this is something at an enterprise level agility plan. If I want to do an enterprise level transformation, you create an enterprise transformation backlog, which we have done for one of our clients, and then we have started creating initiatives across multiple departments in the organization. It could be legal team, finance team, HR team, operations and support team, marketing team. Now the question will come, okay, but those guys are going to execute what? For that, I have given just one example. Legal team also need to know how to write flexible contracts. Finance team need to understand what do you mean by dynamic budgeting. HR team need to do quarterly based, team based performance appraiser. And my operations support team need to know the calmer approach to DevOps, culture, automation, lean flow, metrics and measurement, recovery plan. And then my marketing team should understand minimum viable product, minimum marketable feature, minimum marketable release, and also minimum testable product. We have one more term called a minimum lovable product also. So I'm not going to explain each and everything in this session, because the purpose of this session is not to teach all these things. You may try to Google and then learn it, but at least try to know that these are all the things which you may need to read in the future. So these are all some of the common outcomes, right? It could be speed and market responsiveness, improvement in predictability, productivity, quality, continuous improvement, flow efficiency, meeting fast changing regulatory requirements. These are all real-time examples, okay? All right. And this is one of the organization change management model called Carter's 8-step change management model, wherein we have something like a definition phase, implementation phase, and a securing phase, and some of the high level activities there. So let's go back to the chat. Okay. Please explain. Okay, Raghav, what I meant is, at the end of the session, I will share my YouTube channel. In that, one of the video is exactly it's going to explain you how to approach a Scrum team when you are joining a new organization. Okay, and I will also be putting my WhatsApp number in the chat. Once the session is about to end, you can actually connect with me one-on-one on WhatsApp. Okay, Subramanyam is asking a question. Please explain a bit about pod. and how it is imbibed with the Scrum. Okay. See, maybe I might not have worked much on the pod, but pod is a concept which, like as you had mentioned, that it is more towards the product oriented. Is pod a delivery or a development? You may need to check it once. See, but then the pod. Okay, see the basic concept. What is trying to tell is you take a self-contained team. What do you mean by a self-contained team? It is a it is a team as a whole. They need to have all the cross-functional capabilities for us to deliver value. Correct? Even if you take the squad or if you take any scrum team, what has been told is it should be a self-organized team. It should be a cross-functional team. As a team, everyone should complement their skills so that there is no gap, right? As a team, they can deliver, as Ashish is mentioning, they alone can deliver any feature end to end. Yes, right from concept to cache, or right from the requirement generation all the way to production deployment and maintenance. As a team, do I have that cross-functional capability? Okay, I'll stop sharing. Anyway, we are by and large done with the slides. I'll just stop sharing and then we'll just focus on the chat. So the point is like this: whether it's a pod, because sometimes we need to be a bit careful with this term pod and PDO. PDO means product driven organization. Okay, because sometimes in some articles and all we start seeing the term called a PDO, because some companies are embarking on making the existing project teams to PDOs, which is product driven organization. But what you are asking here is a pod. But of course, what we used to do is whenever we are getting an agile contracting model, my client will tell that, okay, we are doing a large scale agile transformation, like I need 110 people, something like that. Or instead of asking 110 people, indirectly they may ask, we need 11 pods or we need 11 squads, whatever it is. So what it means is right from the requirements gathering to your design, analysis, your development, your testing, your deployment, and your maintenance. Then you also need to take care of your incident and support tickets, your compliance activities, your maintenance activities, your tech refresh activities, production defect fixes. See the variety of a heterogeneity of the backlog. Because when you do a certification, the certifications may actually give you a feel as if your container or the backlog is going to contain only user stories by and large. Absolutely no. In a real-time industry, your backlog is always a heterogeneous one. The degree of heterogeneity is going to get varied, okay? Because if you are taking your migration projects, then probably you may have your incident and support tickets or those kind of things, or rather infrastructure related fixes more, okay? Depending upon whether it's a greenfield versus a brownfield. But anyway, your backlog is going to be a heterogeneity model. So how am I going to entertain the heterogeneity factor? Of course, Kanban gives a term called the class of services. But that's a term which comes from the Kanban. Now forget about Kanban. It's a commonsensical, right? My backlog is containing a heterogeneity. So the process policy, what I apply for a user story may not be relevant for a production defect. Kanban makes it explicitly using knowledge called class of services. But even if you're not implementing Kanban as a Scrum Master or as an Agile coach, fundamentally, I need to coach my teams. Hey guys, the way you treat a user story is distinctively different from the way you treat a production defect. Both are not on the same level of connotation. So do we have a process policy for X? Do we have a process policy for a Y? So just to cut a long story short, and because we are now on the closing time of this, so just to recap, have clarity on what do you mean by agile transformation in that particular context for that client, because agile transformation many people may think differently, right? So I don't want to give a generic explanation, but the common explanation is taking a team or rather team of teams. It could be a program. See, when I say team, your mind should not always think only a Scrum team, a Kanban team, or a DevOps team. No. It could be even a program level team. It could be even a portfolio level team. Okay. So transformation is a journey of taking one or more teams or rather team of teams from a point X to point Y, obviously the point Y is been believed to be a better state of existence compared to point X, right? Now you need to define what is point X and point Y for your own context, and what measures need to be done. What could be the building blocks to take my team from point X to point Y? You may need to define it. From there, you may need to create a coaching plan, do an assessment, try to plug the gap, and then again take the team from that new point X to point Y. See, for example, just give an example. You are traveling from, okay, one of the common example which comes to my mind is I was actually driving some 15 days back all the way from Chennai to that Kolar gold mine, gold field kind of a place, right? So what I did, from Chennai, I go to Chittoor because I was touching the border of Chittoor. From there, I went towards the Bangalore bypass. So what it means, first I need to go from point X to some place, and I also need to sustain there. Many of the transformation fail because without even ensuring that the team sustains in the intermediate levels, they immediately try to jump to the next level. No. You need to sustain there for 1 or 2 program increments to see how far you are capable to continuously render value, right? Because everyone can win once in a while, but a real success is a person who is winning the game every time he actually calls for a shot, right? So you also need to check whether the team sustains over there for a considerable span of time. Then take the team once again from there to there, provided the business context it demands. Because what's the point in keep on improving from level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 when that much level of improvement is not needed in the first place? Because who is going to fund the transformation? Even to fund the transformation, money is needed, right? Business sponsor need to give the funds. So everything need to be taken into consideration also from a business angle, not just from an agile angle, okay? And then probably you can try to know if once you are doing it in 1 or 2 engagements, you will get that real-time capability. From there, you can drive it forward. Okay. Okay. All right. So I'm just sharing my coordinates. Some of you already have it. And for people who are joining my sessions for the first time, you can take these things to connect with me offline for any of your queries. This is my YouTube channel. What I suggest is probably copy paste this chat in a notepad so that for your future reference, you will also know what kind of questions were asked, something like that. And what was the answer given, if it is possible. This is my Facebook group. And people know my, 1 second. This is my LinkedIn thing. You can read my blogs over there. And if you have any Agile related queries, you can send a mail to me, either myself or my Agile mentorship program. My team will take a look into it. This is the WhatsApp number to contact me. If you have any queries, you can ping me, and then we can probably try to block some time, 15 minutes or something. And then I will share my own perspectives for your challenges. So I just suggest you to copy paste this chat in a notepad for your future reference. All right. Okay. I still like to take 1 or 2 questions if you have anything. Let me try to answer 1 or 2 questions, and then we can wind up the session. Does actually anyone have any other questions? All right. So if there's nothing, and by the way, and for some of the people already know it, I do run a program called Agile Mentorship Program, AMP, and you can go through these links, whatever I have shared here. You will try to understand it. If you wanted to become a part of my Agile Mentorship Program, which I have for Scrum Master, team level Agile coaches, and enterprise Agile coaches, and I have a lesson plan separately for Agile project managers, program managers, portfolio managers, product managers, and I also have a lesson plan separately for Agile practice head, Agile transformation office head, Agile COE head. So if you like to go through a structured learning program, probably you can connect with me Okay, possibly I can give you further details, because in a 1 hour webinar we can only touch the tip of the iceberg. It will be very difficult to build a real time capability just by attending webinars. Attending webinars is going to open up your insights or thought processes in multiple dimensions, but there is no guarantee that a webinar in itself is going to build you a sustained capability. It can be done only through a training program. So you may connect with me and then we will see. Okay, cheers. Good luck to all. Bye. Okay, Ashish. Okay, while I like to slide this, while I like to share the slides, like no, unfortunately, these slides are part of my Agile mentorship program. So the slides will be shared only to my mentees group. And hope you saw the logo there, which has been mentioned in each of the slides. Okay, you can connect with me offline, Ashish. Probably I will try to help you through some other means to get it done. Okay, all right then. Cheers, yeah, bye, and good luck to all. Bye.